Hello learners, in this video related to marketing of local food, the objectives of the video is to understand the role of catering services in local food management. Second, we are going to learn about the various factors that influence the catering services at the destination. We will analyze the importance of temple food and shall gain insight about the different types of temple food in India. Learners, outside catering is also known as off-premises catering. It's the art of providing food and drink away from catering premises to the consumers rather than the consumers coming to the catering area. In outside catering, the caterer has no banquet hall. All serving is done in a variety of locations and the menu have to be extremely flexible to fit the wide variety of facilities at different locations. Outside catering is a specialized sector of the food service industry and is probably one of the most difficult to operate because of its challenges and is speculative in nature. The fine art of catering dates back in China in 4th millennium BC. Thereafter, during the time of prosperity in Egypt, somewhere around 1450 BC, the culture of eating and drinking became very important. And over these centuries, today, we find that in this era of technical innovation, improvement of transport routes, increase in population, and rise in travel activities, outdoor catering has emerged as an important branch of local food services. In the 21st century, the demand for catering services have increased. There is a need to change the trend today because the tourists are becoming highly demanding. They want specific venues at certain locations. So as a result of it, the caterers need to adopt to this change and begin preparing and serving food and drink at the attractions or places which are permitted by local authorities. These changes are coming up in a big way due to large number of group members in the tour, limited facilities at certain destinations, and there is a desire to experience local food at exotic locations. So for the tourist, it's an area where they enjoy good food graciously and they look for professional standards of services. So there are numerous challenges which an outdoor caterer may face because he is supposed to provide products and services of high quality. Quality is difficult to define in relation to outdoor catering operations, but it is easy to recognize because it is a perception of how good or bad a product is based on individual's point of view. Quality refers to the ability of a product to consistently meet or exceed the guest expectations. So as an outdoor caterer, you must be involved in managing quality, which involves a lot of effort from your side in terms of your staff management and as well as your cooking methods. Now let us discuss the various factors that affect outdoor catering. The first factor is the physical factor, which may be intangible but is the most important factor in terms of its role. Now, physical factors range from equipments to the people involved in it. Equipments are important in the production process. The service providers may also be alert to technologies which may not be part of the traditional local food cooking methods, but they must transform their cooking methods to generate better business. In terms of tangible elements, we have the physical equipments. We need to take into consideration the manpower, the cost of operations, efficiency of operations, selection of equipments, with reference to their performance and functional design, because outdoor catering requires lot of maintenance, reliability of equipment, co- cost-effective replacements, and the employee skill levels of the production should be as per the expectations of the tourist, which takes into consideration their needs and demands. Today, with the application and development of new technologies, there are lot of products available at the global level, and competitors are adapting to new technologies to reduce labor and reduce cost, come up with innovations in local food products with an aesthetic component, and all this influences the overall catering business at the destination. So we have learned that in terms of the catering, the physical factors associated with equipments, manpower, capabilities of the food production system are also an important factor. Natural factors in the outdoor catering environment, other factors connected with the aspects related to health, hygiene, illness, and contamination of food. Food handlers find it easy to keep food visibly clean, but the food which looks and smells and even tastes good may not be up to the standards. So we need to take into consideration the hygiene factors which are important in catering establishments, the conditions of the premises, especially the cleanliness part of it, and the levels associated with the overall hygiene. Equipments, cleanliness, maintenance, the separation of raw food from cooked food, the standard of personal hygiene for food handlers, which range from clothing such as covered hair, practices related to decontaminating one's hands before handling food, covering cuts and boils, keeping nails clean and short, are some of the basic guidelines that an outdoor caterer needs to take into consideration while training its manpower related to food management. So in outdoor catering, we come into contact directly with the tourist. We sell the food at a specific destination, so we require a good amount of trained manpower which is free from all sort of infection and sickness to serve the food. Today, the catering industry is under constant demand, and it comes with a fair share of challenges. It's not possible to discuss all the potential challenges, but the most important part is that we must take into consideration the expectations of the tourist. We must consider that the destination has its own set of attributes and the attractions. So according to the visitors and the tourists at the destination, we must take certain factors into consideration. One such factor is the dietary requirements. The dietary requirements of the tourist is an important factor as far as catering is concerned. We can further subdivide it into vegetarian and non-vegetarian, or people with specific diseases. How many of them are vegetarian? How many of them prefer gluten-free servings are important factors when we are involved in the outdoor catering business, because we want to ensure that each of our tourists is happy and is sure to have diet specific options available. So when I am an outdoor caterer and I am planning the menu and I am discussing it with my clients, I must take into consideration this factor related to individuals. The second one is the level of service. Especially in the hospitality industry and in the food service industry, the expectations of the customers may be varied, and in the case of F&B outlets, they have high level of expectations, but it also depends on the kind of budget and the location and the problems associated with outdoor catering. So whenever you are hiring your staff, you must take into consideration certain aspects related to their training and give them complete information about the expectations of the tourist, how difficult tourists need to be handled in the everyday catering business. The third important factor in outdoor catering is the change in weather. Change in weather can impact the shelf life of the food, how long any food item can remain at the room temperature is one of the important parts. For example, in India, we have hot and humid summers. So as a result of it, it drastically changes the average room temperature, which can increase the growth and spread of bacteria in food. So all these factors we need to take into consideration in terms of the seasonality, weather conditions, the cooking temperature, as well as the local facilities available related to refrigeration. For example, in terms of certain fruit and vegetables, we are okay at the room temperature, but certain dairy products require specific set of temperatures. So I think these are the basic points, but when you take into consideration outdoor catering, especially with reference to local food, it is essential for you to consider these factors and avoid food wastages in terms of managing it. So in this video, we have understood that along with the training of manpower and the equipment management, hygiene is also very important because of the level of infections that is growing across the globe. In terms of food service and food handling, we must maintain international standards of hygiene. We must not cross-contaminate. We must adhere to the standard operating procedures for whether cutting a meat or a vegetable. We must also clean our equipment regularly, and we must avoid listing different foods together as they may comprise of specific dietary compositions. So we have to take into consideration these basic factors. And the last important factor is the supply catering. It's all about the business of providing food on time, serving it, balancing cost versus supply, as well as we must take into consideration this fact that the supply chain management should be such that there is less of food wastage and the quality of the food is maintained. So this was the first part of the video where we have studied about the importance of outdoor catering as far as local food is concerned. Now, when we are promoting local food, especially for outdoor catering, we must take into account the human factors, the charging policies. Many guests demand services, but they do not agree on the pricing part of it. Problems in payments, expecting services at a low price may affect the overall outcome of outside catering. Therefore, caterers need to quote a price which is fair enough according to the amount of work so that they are able to meet the expectations of the tourist. And it is also essential that they must communicate in detail effectively to the tourist to avoid any situations of misunderstanding. Physical factors, especially inadequate service, problems with cooking equipment, poor source of ingredients may also affect the outcome of outside catering. So to reduce these negative impacts, if you are a caterer, you must plan properly. You must take into consideration each subset of your function and have a detailed discussion with the tour operators who is managing a group with reference to the theme as well as the design of the overall catering menu. So we have to take into consideration the natural factors as I discussed with you, especially the rainy and the windy weather as well as excessive snowfall, because all this will affect the movement of the staff and also may become problematic for you. So whenever you are designing and working on an agreement with the tour operator, you must take into consideration the overall weather conditions, the premises where you are going to deliver food, the expectations of the type of services that is required, and the various factors that may be important as far as outdoor catering is concerned. Now, after studying outdoor catering, let us now move to the second part of this video, which is again very interesting, and I hope that you must have experienced temple food, which is popularly known as prasad in the Indian subcontinent. The sacred food in India. Whenever we are paying our gratitude to the God, we visit a sacred place such as a temple and we offer the local food, which is also known as prasadam, at the end of our visit. It's a significant part of our visit to any religious place. Across India, we have numerous temples and they are popular for different types of sadhanas, and in each temple we get a prasad, which is commonly known as in Hindi grace, or an offering, or a naivedyam in certain languages of India. So what is this offering all about? This offering is basically related to a specific god or goddess. On the other hand, this sacred food is prepared also in the temples with the strict rules and is placed in front of the god or a goddess who is supposed to consume it with a lot of enjoyment. After this practice, which is known as bhog, it is distributed among devotees who consider it as a gracious gift or a blessing from the divine. So this ritual of prasadam and bhog is very popular among spiritual tourists and cultural tourists visiting different shrines and temples in India. So both the temples associated with the northern style of architecture and the southern style of architecture, this practice of offering is popular across the country. This is a kind of a offering which involves large number of people, and all devotees enjoy the prasads that they get, whether they are performing a Ganesh Chaturthi puja or they are involved in the celebrations of Navratri. So in each region there are specific cuisines and temple offerings which are related with temple prasad, and it helps in the preservation of cultural heritage. We know that temples were built from ancient time onwards in India, and we have so many structures of temple which are popular. These temples during the ancient and the medieval times were associated with small townships. They mirrored the social image and they helped to develop the people in the community for various reasons, such as some of them worked as pujaris, some of them were working as dancers and cooks in the case of the temple management. So in most of the big temples we have a large kitchen which have a lot of cooks and helpers, people who are involved in the distribution of prasadas, and we have designated temple authorities who work round the clock to provide meals to the devotees. These devotees may belong to different sections of the society, and they may be poor, marginalized people also who are dependent on some of these prasadas. So now let me take up certain case studies related to the temple food, the popular temple food of India, and I hope that you must have read and heard about the Jagannath Puri temple in Puri, which is established in the state of Orissa. This temple is one of the most prominent temples of Hindus, and the Jagannath Puri Mandir, the focus is on distribution and of food to a large number of people. It's a ritual which is performed every day. Thousands of devotees visit the temple, and the food is cooked in a traditional way. The prasad is offered to the devotees, and it is also known as a Mahaprasad. Lord Jagannath is considered to be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, and as a result of it, this temple has grand operations in its kitchen. Called as a Mahaprasad, the meal here is made up of variety of products. Generally 56 items are cooked by an army of cooks. The chefs don't cook in their own homes, they make food in the temple kitchen, and this food is further distributed. We have rice varieties, we have number of vegetables, biryanis, pumpkins, and number of sweet offerings to the god at different times of the day. We make sure that the god is well fed, and as a result of it, it's a small activity as far as the tourist is concerned. But if you look at the temple management point of view, it's a huge and an enormous activity, and eating the food is considered to be sacred. Now, second part is, if you look at during the time of Pongol in Kerala, lakhs and lakhs of women, they assemble to celebrate the Pongol festival. They use earthen pots on stoves made up of firewoods. They cook sacred offerings of Pongol. They make rice cooked in milk. They use jaggery. They use mashed bananas, grated coconut, and cardamom. So that's again a festival and its offerings to various temples in Kerala. Then Chakho Kheer, Shri Govindji temple in Imphal, Manipur. We know that Lord Krishna is one of such deities where food is related with milk, butter, and honey. So in this area, Manipur, we have the Shri Govindji temple in Imphal, which is a 19th century old temple, and there is a ritual of offering Chakho Kheer as prasad, and this is a pudding made up of rice cooked in milk and sweetened with jaggery or sugar. Again, this kind of a practice you will find in temples of Vrindavan as well as in temples at Udaipur and parts of Gujarat also, where kheer is offered to Lord Krishna, which is considered to be a divine prasad. Then let us move to Madurai, where we offer biryani as a bhog to Muniasim Temple, Madurai. I'm sure you must have heard about Tirupati Temple, Andhra Pradesh. Tirupati is one of the most famous temples of South India. We have free bhog distribution and prasad distribution, which is offered to thousands of pilgrims who visit the temple. The devotees also contribute to the Annadan, believing that offering food to the needy without expecting anything in return is the purest form of devotion. Then we have the ISKCON movement, the ISKCON temples across the country, especially at Hubli. The Karnataka Akshapatra foundation is a non-profit organization that owns a mega kitchen in Hubli, Karnataka. This kitchen is well equipped to produce food for at least 150,000 people in less than 5 hours. ISKCON Foundation also runs various school lunch programs which provide midday meals to several schools in rural areas and provide the underprivileged the Mahaprasad of the god. Now, when you visit Vaishno Devi in Jammu, you will find that there are several places where you're trekking, whether in the cold climate or in intense summer, there are various facilities that are available to the devotees during their journey by the Vaishno Devi Shrine Board in terms of the distribution of free food. One can enjoy the free food at various checkpoints en route to Vaishno Devi. These free foods are managed by the Shrine Board and are extremely popular among the tourists. They are funded by donations from various devotees. Now, another important temple of southern India is the Dharamsthala in Bangalore. This is one of the unique temples in Bangalore, and it has presiding deity of Shiva and Gomteshwara. So again, in this temple we find a lot of activities. Along with this, we have a statue of a Jain Tirthankara, where though administered by Jain, the puja is conducted by Hindu priests. The food is served here. You will find it's a simple meal, but every day more than 10,000 devotees are served here on daily basis. Those of you who have visited Golden Temple Amritsar must be aware about Guru Ka Langar. Guru Ka Langar is a traditional langar initiated by Guru Nanak Dev Ji and established by the third Guru Shri Guru Amar Das Ji. Now, this langar was so famous that during the time of medieval era, Akbar came and sat among the ordinary people to share this langar. So even the Mughal emperors appreciated and participated in this sacred activity. An exemplary painting of Mughal Emperor of India sharing the meals with his nobles and servants along with the Sangat during his visit to the Gurudwara Darshan is there as a part of the historical heritage. So the institution of Guru Ka Langar has served the community for many years. It has ensured that participation of women and all sections of the society are there whenever the services are provided. It's a community-based activity where women are involved in the preparation of meal, and the children also help in serving food to the Pangat. Langar is popular among all Gurudwaras and is one of the important activities as far as the Sikh religion is concerned. So, learners, we have understood that temple food is considered to be sacred. Temple food is also related with the local traditions. It has its unique taste and unique set of rituals associated with it. Volunteers are involved in preparation and serving of this kind of a temple food. In certain temples of India, several hundred people are fed and no outside catering is involved. The volunteers abide by the various rules and regulations of the temple authorities, and a large section of tourists enjoy the temple food. So in this video, we have studied that if you are a tour operator, you must take into consideration the various aspects related to catering businesses. Also, you must understand the changing expectations of the tourist, the influence of the outsiders on Indian food traditions, and also designing the cuisine as per the expectations of the tourist. And when you are working in the area of spiritual tourism or cultural tourism, it is essential for you to design the itinerary in such a way that you can take the tourist to the temple. The tourist can offer prasad to the relevant god and get the bhog in return and enjoy the spiritual feast. Thank you.